And as we continue to commemorate Eid al-Fitr and Ramadan in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world, we cross now to Lenah Ankliss, who is Australian. She's a Muslim. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview with us as we talk about Ramadan around the world. Where are you now exactly?
Right now I'm in Abu Dhabi, so I'm studying here.
Yes.
But I'm from Australia originally.
And tell us what it's like for you commemorating Eid al-Fitr for the month of Ramadan.
It's a really nice time. We all celebrate together, it brings the family together. Ramadan really differs depending on the country you're in. So in Australia, we break our fast around 5:30 p.m. But recently I was in London and we would fast till about 9 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So
does it have to do with the sunlight? What determines the length?
So when the sun sets, we break our fast. So right now in Australia, it's winter, but then in London, it was summer. So it was going on to spring. So it was really long hours.
How difficult is it, or perhaps not at all, for you to fast for the period? And how long is it? How long is the period?
So I think in London, it was the longest fast I've ever done. It was around an 18-hour fast.
Wow.
And it got very difficult because it was during exam times and we're obviously not allowed to have any water as well.
Oh.
So walking around and trying to study, I feel like your brain does slightly feel a bit more foggy.
Yeah. And what is it like being a Muslim in Australia? Because you wouldn't think, what was it like for you?
I would say people always ask me that. They always they expect for me to say that perhaps it's more difficult. And I think it definitely is for some people, but it very much depends on the region. But I think in my city, I'm from South Australia, Adelaide, there's actually surprisingly quite a few Muslims. So we have quite a large community. And I think when you're a minority group, you tend to bring together. So for instance, during Ramadan, we'll break our fast with people all from many different Muslim backgrounds. So my family's from Lebanon, and we'll break our fast from people from Eritrea or people from Egypt. So it brings together Muslims from all over the world when there's less of you in that country.
And you're calling different countries. So you're studying in Abu Dhabi, you were in London, you're from Australia. How do you manage, across the time zones, and particularly during the month of Ramadan?
So that's the tricky part. Usually when I have a flight, I just won't fast because it's a bit hard to figure out the time zones when you're in the sky. But it's really interesting. I think definitely your experience, you can really see how it changes depending on the country you're in. So in Abu Dhabi, you hear the adhan, you hear the mosques go during Maghrib time, you hear all over the city, you know that it's time to break your fast. But when you're in London, I have an app which beeps when it's time for me to break my fast. So it's really interesting to see how it differs. Yeah.
And if you have to break your fast, so for example, if you are traveling, I understand that you're allowed, if you're traveling, you can break your fast. Is there a way for you to compensate for breaking fast?
Yeah, so usually you'll make up your days that you miss after the month of Ramadan. So I've got a few days to miss because I've got a few days to make up because of my traveling. So I have, taken it easy on some days more than others. But usually people try their best to fast the whole month.
And if you are studying, you mentioned that you're studying. If you have exams, are you expected to fast as well during exam period?
I think it depends person to person. I personally do try and fast, but it can be difficult. You really do. I think to be fair, the first day is always the hardest. And then after that, it does get easier and you do feel like you adapt to the not eating. So on the first day of Eid, when you're about to open the fridge, you grab some food and it doesn't feel right to be eating during daylight hours.
And Eid al-Fitr is Wednesday, which is Wednesday the 5th of June here in Trinidad and Tobago, I imagine around the world. What will you be doing on that day?
So I'm not with my family right now. I'm at university, so I'll probably take a shuttle bus and head to the Sheikh Zayed Mosque, which is really beautiful, very glamorous mosque. I'll pray the Eid prayer there, and then probably head for a lunch with my friends out in the city. And take it easy, eat a lot of food. And
if you were home in Australia, what would you be doing?
So probably something similar. In the morning, usually we'll have presents. and we'll all open up each other's presents. Then we'll all head to the mosque together. And usually we actually pray in a park, but in Abu Dhabi it's very hot, so I think they stick more to mosques. But we'll all pray communally in a park, and they'll have jumping castles and different activities for the kids. So while the adults pray, they can kind of have fun and engage in those activities. And after that, we head home, usually have a nap because the Eid prayer is very early, around 5 a.m. sometimes. And then in the evening, we will all gather together as family, share a lot of food, exchange presents, and just spend time together.
And I understand there are two Eids, actually. There's a bigger Eid. We don't have a holiday for it here in Trinidad. We have a holiday for Eid al-Fitr. Tell us about the other Eid that you celebrate as well.
So the other Eid, I think, is about 2 months from now. And that Eid is when the emphasis is on giving money to charity, and you're meant to, I think it's one sheep. I'm not gonna know the specifics, but that one lasts a bit longer, and it's a similar concept. Like, we all kind of gather together as family and really just spend time together. Yeah.
And my final question to you is, you are a young Muslim girl in a sort of Western university, I believe. Do you find that you have any sort of, you feel any different from your friends from the West, for example?
So it's interesting.
And growing up in Australia, which is considered predominantly Western as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's very interesting because over here in Australia, I would always kind of be like, my family's from Lebanon, and I'd clarify that point. But then ever since moving to Abu Dhabi and being in this campus, I feel much more Australian than I do feel connected to my Lebanese ethnicity. And I've noticed how much I actually identify with Australian culture than when I was out of that context. But generally, I think everyone is very accepting. Like, definitely my close friends in Australia, they support me in everything, and it's really like you kind of just forget that it's even a difference to begin with.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Well, Lenah, thank you so much for joining us from Abu Dhabi, born in Australia, went to London. You're an international young person, and you're one of the many young people we love to feature here on this morning show in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you so much, and all the best for Eid al-Fitr.
Thank you so much.
Eid Mubarak, as they say.
Thank you.
Okay, that was very fascinating, isn't it?
I like learning about how people celebrate different things in different cultures
around the world.
And Lenah, she was fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, have you been invited to go to anybody's home for Eid?
For Eid? No, no.
Really?
You?
No.
Yes, I have actually.
You have?
Yes. It's actually my sister's fiance. Their family, they have mixed religion, and so half of the family is Muslim, and they invited us and my entire family to come across there.
See, that is a good thing about living in a country like ours,
isn't it? Yes.
Eid is one of my favorite holidays for the year, because that is the day that I can go to all my friends' homes and eat. I mean, the food is fantastic. Really? The amount that you eat, it's great. So I'm really looking forward to eat this Wednesday.
You have not invited me as yet. You're getting
No, I got an invitation.
Oh, you did? Yes. Oh, so it's just me then. That's all right. I will enjoy my Eid.
We need to fix that, Lisa. We need to
fix that.
Yeah, I think we need to fix that.
Well, let's take in a few messages. Come right back here. Now, back after this.